everybody, this is the Sliders Review. I'm here today to talk about Black History Month, the month that is a celebration of my people, because I am a black man and everything. And it's about all our accomplishments, all the oppression that we have gone through over like centuries of living in like America and stuff like that. And even till this day, we are still being oppressed. And so I'm here today to talk to you about certain characters or TV shows or episodes that revolve around Black History Month that I personally enjoy. So I'm here today to talk to you about Family Matters Season 5, episode Good Cop, Bad Cop. So Family Matters was an extremely good show that started off in the 80s. It's funny because it was a spin-off of Perfect Strangers where Harriet used to work in like the elevator. Because back then, you used to press the buttons for the elevator and stuff. Now you can just press your own button. And so they spun it off to where she has a family and stuff. And during the first season, it was kind of boring. Like it was good, but kind of boring too. Like it was just your typical family show about a black family who it's kind of like lower class, but they're not like super poor or nothing like that. And so it was just kind of like, you know what I'm saying? And then they added that magic like spice to the show, Steve Urkel. And boy, the show exploded after that. It basically became the Steve Urkel show, where everything revolved around his character. That's something very shocking and like you know what I'm saying? Because like that normally doesn't happen. If it does happen, it's normally that of like the family member, but that was just so shocking and stuff. But he made for some hilarious times, and the show got so much better. So much better that it lasted for 9 seasons. However, I did not watch the last season because around season 8, ABC decided like to cancel it, and then so they put it on CBS. I didn't even know that at that time, and then when I turned to go watch it on CBS, I started to notice something. I noticed that they changed Harriet's. Now she's played by like a light skinned actress, and also there's like this new little kid in there thing. I'm just like, well, who's that little kid? And so it was just, I don't know, it just didn't feel the same, so I didn't watch it. I didn't even know how it ended until I was on HBO Max. I didn't even know it was on HBO Max. And then so I found out that Steve Urkel went to space. Something happened to this the thing he was on. And him and Laura like started like dating and got engaged. Like when did that happen? Like she hated his behind. Like that's just so weird. Ah, I couldn't believe that. Anyway, so this episode starts off with him and her on the couch, and they're watching an R&B music video. He tries to put the moves on her, and she rejects him. Then she starts daydreaming about that band, only for them to all turn to Steve Urkel. So then she has a nightmare, and she wakes up. It's pretty hilarious. So this episode misses the mark big time on what they tried to accomplish because they did more tell than they did show. Why? Because they devoted half of the episode to the plot B of the story, and the plot B revolves around Steve Urkel going to the dentist and having cavities. They wasted so much time on that they deviated from what was supposed to be important. See, they tried to copy what happened in the Fresh Prince episode where Will and Carlton got pulled over by cops and stuff. And no matter what, the Fresh Prince episode did it so much better, even the comedy in that. So first, let's get through the B part. So Richie comes down, and by this time, Julie has disappeared from the show. She went upstairs and never came back. Richie's mom, whose name I forgot, has also disappeared from the show. And so, like, it was always weird because, like, where's his mom at? Oh, before I start, man, I missed her grandma so much. She was so cool and sassy. May she rest in peace. Man, I miss her, man. She was cool and stuff on the show. Anyways, so he comes down. he talks to Laurel and he talks to Steve about how he doesn't want to go to the dentist, and Steve's all like, you have to go and all this other stuff. So they go together. His teeth are fine, but Steve hasn't been in years and he has cavities. So he's really worried. So he says Novocaine doesn't work on him, which is actually a true thing. A lot of redheads, Novocaine does not work on them for some reason. So he gets laughing gas instead. And here comes the humor. It is funny, but it's unnecessary. So it's weird. The person who saved the show ended up also ruining the show because it took away from important storylines. It was no more about like a family type show. And I believe that's what caused the Harriet actress to leave. I'm not 100% sure, but she did leave towards like, 'cause she was only in a couple episodes in the last season, and then she left and never came back. So anyway, the eighth story. Carl is watching football. He's excited. He's dancing around. In comes Waldo, and in comes um, his son. Wow, I totally forgot his son's name just that quick. Eddie. Okay, it's Eddie. So he comes in. Waldo spills the beans about Eddie getting a speeding ticket. Basically, he was going 80 miles an hour. And so then he gets like in trouble, and his dad said, you get one more speeding ticket because it's the second one in the year and it's only February, that he'll take his license away for like a couple months. So then Waldo comes back and said Eddie also ditched class. So he's in trouble again. So anyways, later on in that day, Eddie comes back in the house and he's all upset. He's all like, Dad, something terrible happened. I got pulled over by a cop. And so his dad's all like, well, what did you do this time? He's all like, well, I forgot the signal and everything. But then he's all like, the cop threw me on the ground and arrested me, and I was so embarrassed, and everybody was looking. And his dad didn't want to believe him because he lied about getting that speeding ticket the first time. So his dad had reason not to want to believe him. Also, his dad's a cop, so he doesn't want to believe him. But he said, you know what, he'll check it out and see if his son's telling the truth. This upsets Eddie, and Eddie's all like, you my own dad, and you can't even believe me and stuff. But then again, it's kind of like, how is he supposed to? And he constantly lies a lot, So anyways, Carl finds the two cops that arrested him and threw him on the ground and harassed him and stuff. It's these two white cops. One's older, one's younger. They're in a cafe. Now, here's the problem. So Carl first asks, do you have proof? And he's all like, well, no. And then so he's all like, like, how's he supposed to know? So here's the thing. They never showed this. Never. They never showed Eddie driving in the car, getting pulled over, getting thrown to the ground, not getting arrested. He just explained everything. That takes the visual, like, I'm trying to think what to say. It takes like, it just takes the whole visual like illusion of it like out. Like hearing about stuff is not fun. You have to see things and hear, because that's how people like learn better. Cause this is supposed to be a teaching lesson for a lot of like black people and stuff. And all they had to do was hear about it like a lecture instead of seeing it with their own eyes. It's more shocking when you see something and then it drills in your head and then you remember. And that's what Fresh Prince did. They showed and they tell, whereas this one just told. So he finds the two cops, and the young cop is nice to him. The older cop is not. The older cop's one of those hick type cops. So Carl basically lays it down to him, talking about how dare you arrest my son and this and that, just because he was driving in a nice white neighborhood and everything. And the other cops all like, well, your son was like speeding. He's like, no, it was like he didn't signal. So the cops are like, whatever. He should never been in that neighborhood anyway. He had no business being there. He's one of those heavy, like hardcore racist type like cops and stuff. And so Carl's just like not letting him go. He's like drilling in them, talking about how like it's cops like you that give us cops like our good cops like a bad name and like everything like that, and talking about how like you didn't care what this kid did, you just saw the color of his skin and you judged him for that. And so then the cops are like, look, man, if I would have known he was the son of a cop, I would have never done this. And Carl gets even more pissed, talking about it doesn't matter. All you saw was skin color. So then the nice cop gonna start being a little idiot too. But then he shuts him up. So then the bad cop leaves. And then before the good one can leave, Carl talks to him and gives him some wisdom, telling him that, like you only been on the force for a year. You put on that uniform and badge to like serve and protect people, not to harass them and not make them feel like they're less than human. And he said, your partner is the complete opposite and do not turn out to be like him. And so it basically just like ends with that storyline. And it's kind of like, okay, the message was good when Carl laid it into them, but still, it would have been nice to see that happen so it can be more of a shocking, like, learning lesson. So then Carl goes back to Eddie. He tells them, we're going to file a complaint against those cops. And Eddie's mad. He's all like, a complaint? Man, they should be like arrested and everything. They made me feel like crap. And Eddie's right. They should be arrested. They should be fired. But, his dad tells him this is all they can do right now because there is no visible proof. And this is one of the reasons why now cops wear body cams, so that like when stuff like this happens, then if the cop is in the wrong, then then they can be punished and stuff. But then that's when those sneaky cops turn their body cams off. It should never be like that. A body cam should stay on automatically, and if it turns itself off, there should be like a device to turn it back on. That's what they should do, and it should record and be played and watched by somebody in real time. But there's so many cops out there, they'll have to like hire a bunch of people to watch it, but then they'll give them a job and money. So you know what I'm saying. But yeah, it really sucks that cops do that, and I'm so glad now they have body cam. But still, the only problem is they turn that crap off, and that's why they're dash cams too. And it has to be stuff like that because things can go both ways. Either the person who's being arrested is lying, or the cop is lying. But that proof is what people need and stuff. But they will never have to need proof if like all these cops would stop harassing people based only simply on the color of their skin. Happy Black History Month, everybody. I'll talk to you later. Bye.